Schedule Part 1 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended, the National Defense Council shall comprise of the following members: the President, who shall be the Chairman, the Vice President, who shall be the Deputy Chairman, the Minister of the Government of the Federation responsible for defense, the Chief of Defense Staff, the Chief of Army Staff, the Chief of Naval Staff, the Chief of Air Staff, and such other members as the President may appoint. The Senate notes that the National Defense Council and the National Security Council are constitutionally empowered to advise the President on matters relating to defense of the sovereignty and the territorial integrity of Nigeria, and on matters relating to public security, including matters relating to any organization or agency established by law for ensuring the security of the Federation, respectively. The Senate further notes that Section 218, subsection 2 of the 1999 Constitution as amended conferred on the President the power to appoint the Chief of Defense Staff, the Chief of Army Staff, the Chief of Naval Staff, the Chief of Air Staff, and heads of any other branches of the armed forces of the Federation, as may be established by an act of the National Assembly. The Senate is also aware that in doing that, Section 217, subsection 3 of the 1999 Constitution as amended stipulates that the composition of the officer corps and the other ranks of the armed forces of the Federation shall reflect the federal character of Nigeria. Further aware that Section 14.3 of the 1999 Constitution as amended expressly stated that the composition of the government of the Federation or any of its agencies and the conduct of their affairs shall be carried out in such a manner as to reflect the federal character of Nigeria and the need to promote national unity and also to command national loyalty, thereby ensuring that there shall be no predominance of persons from a few states or from a few ethnic or other sectional groups in that government or in any of its agencies. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, worried that none of the service chiefs as appointed by the National Defense Council, none of the service chiefs appointed to the National Defense Council and the National Security Council comes from the southeast of Nigeria, as firmly enshrined in the Constitution through the spirit and principle of federal character, and further worried that the defense and security advice relate to the President by members of the Defense and Security Councils, which excluded security officers from the 5 states that make up the southeast of Nigeria, may not likely represent fair and equitable security situation of the southeast of Nigeria. Aware that there are qualified officers from the southeast of Nigeria to be appointed as service chiefs, but none was appointed in the present administration, the Senate notes that the beauty, tenet, and cardinal principle of democracy, as opposed to all other forms of government, are inclusiveness, representation, justice, and fairness. When these essential ingredients are missing and lacking in any government, it will create a feeling of alienation. The Senate is concerned that the fundamental objectives and directive principles of state policy as embedded in Chapter 2 of the Constitution shall be negated if the above is not complied with. Disturbed that the exclusion of the Southeast from the appointment of service chiefs will continue to cause the feeling of alienation, neglect, and consequential agitation among the people of the Southeast. The Senate is convinced that the inclusion of the Southeast among the service chiefs will automatically accord them membership of the National Defense Council and National Security Council, and will go a long way in assuaging their feelings of isolation and neglect. Further convinced that immediate appointment of an officer from the Southeast as service chief will enhance the feeling of oneness among the Southeasterners towards other parts of Nigeria. Accordingly, the Senate resolves as follows. 1, to urge President Muhammad Buhari, Grand Commander of the Federal Republic, to reconstitute the composition of the membership of the National Defense Council and National Security Council to comply with the federal character principle enshrined in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And 2, to urge President Muhammad Buhari, Grand Commander of the Federal Republic, who is the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, to appoint an officer from the Southeast as service chief for equitable representation of the people of the Southeast of Nigeria in the National Defense Council and National Security Council. Finally, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, this issue is a very important one. There are so many qualified officers from the Southeast that can occupy this position. And in view of the fact that the President is empowered to appoint any other person to the membership of the National Defense Council and National Security Council, apart from being a service chief, it is important that the Mr. President should leverage on this empowerment by the Constitution to appoint from the array of qualified officers from the Southeast geopolitical zone into the National Defense Council or the National Security Council. It is absurd that right now that we have security challenges in Nigeria, anytime the National Defense Council of Nigeria meets or the National Security Council of Nigeria meets, no officer from the Southeast will be in that meeting. And the people will feel completely marginalized by this development. In fact, it's been the feeling out there. It may interest you to know, Mr. President and distinguished colleagues, that Major General Rogers Ibe Nicholas, who is the commander of Lafia Dole, that has been fighting insurgency in the Northeast, is from Imo State of Nigeria. And if he's holding such a serious command position, and we are discussing issues of security in National Defense Council, in National Security Council, such a person cannot be involved in the discussion of issues of security in Nigeria. I sincerely believe that if the Senate considers this on the basis of imperativeness, that to include every part of Nigeria in decision-making processes and in bringing things to the knowledge of very high-powered decision-making organs in this country, that all parts of Nigeria shall be represented. I urge my colleagues to support this motion so that every part of Nigeria will be part of the National Defense Council and National Security Council. The Southeast has been left out for too long. Thank you, Mr. President. I so move.